There's a difference between having an intellectual, educational knowledge of who Christ is and believing in him. From the outside, it looked like people were believing. The crowds got bigger. More people were showing up. More people were saying the right things. What do we take from this? We can take this. You can fake your parents. You can fake your children. You could fake your spouse. You could fake your pastor. But you cannot fake Jesus. He sees right through to your heart. He knows the true condition of your heart. And how does he know this? How does he know this? Based on our attribute that we began with today, that God is omniscient, he's all-knowing. Here, Jesus displays one of the attributes of God. He knows things about people he knows things about people that he shouldn't know. Because he is God. John didn't know it. The rest of the disciples didn't know it. But John picked up on it. Because in his conversations with Jesus, it was made obvious that these people were not there for the right reasons. And then he continues this in verse 24. Because he knew all people. He knew all people, John writes. And he needed no one to bear witness about man. Sometimes when there's a lawsuit, sometimes people require character witnesses. You know what I'm talking about? A character witness vouches for the integrity of the person, the truthfulness of the individual. Jesus did not need any character witnesses. He did not need anyone else to tell him about somebody else. He knew the condition of people's hearts. He knew what the real deal was. And sadly, this is the case at the last judgment as well. There are people, Jesus tells us, that will stand before him at that final judgment. They may have had intellectual acknowledgement of who Christ is. They may have gone to church all their lives. They may have been deacons. They may have been Sunday school teachers. They may have been pastors. But Jesus doesn't believe that they've believed. He didn't entrust himself to them. He knew their hearts. And Jesus tells us in Matthew 7, what? Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name? Do many mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. And the never knew you there is a term of intimacy. It's not like Jesus didn't know their name or who they were or what they've done. He knows that. He's God. But he never knew them. There was no relationship. There was no intimacy at all with him. Because there was no trust. There was no belief. There's no faith. Yeah, there is going to come a time where more than just the multitudes in John 2 are going to be questioned about their trusting in Christ. There will also be a time when all of us will stand before God. And what will Jesus say about the condition of your heart? Will he believe that you've believed? That's the question we need to wrestle with today. Because I'm convinced that there are scores of people in the American church that come week after week. They bring their Bibles. They look really nice and pretty. They have a nice smile and a great handshake. But they don't know Christ. They come to go through the motions. They come to, because it's the thing to do. Your family goes, or we've always gone to church somewhere. But Jesus doesn't believe that you believe, or does he? That's the question we must grapple with. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian. Growing up in a Christian family doesn't make you a Christian. Trusting in Jesus Christ makes you a Christian. There's a vast difference, and Jesus knows this. He knows it here while he's walking with his disciples in John 2, and he knows it and will know it on the last judgment. And this is the reason. He concludes verse 25, for he himself knew what was in man.